Hey the internet, this is Lock. Right now, I am fully saturated by E3. I can feel it in my pores like Peter Venkman after getting slimed. Now, E3 is my yearly vacation from good-natured optimism. I'm chronically averse to the type of advertising the event represents. But before we get started with that, the E3 Humble Bundle digital ticket has some great stuff for fans of online multiplayer, so be sure to check that out if you haven't already. Link below. Now, we all know commercials are silly and disingenuous, and E3 is nothing if not a commercial. While many of the games and the technology demos are very interesting to me, I can't help but respond to the cynical hype machine with a little bit of cynicism of my own. Now, to be fair, so far this year has been better than I expected. We've seen some really cool stuff, and as such, I cannot help myself but become part of the machine and spread the commercials just that little bit further. We belong to them now at the Electronic Entertainment Expo Games Play U. In all seriousness, though, overall, the mega companies do seem to be learning. Consciousness about representation's improving, and they seem to be trying to work out what people enjoy, rather than just assuming they can get by on what teenage boys will think looks cool. Which, for my money, they never quite got that right anyway. And if you are a teenage boy, don't worry, you'll grow out of it. But terrible dad jokes aside, yes, you are important too. But you're not the only one who is. And the fact that you're not the only one who is also benefits you. Different people like different things. If companies aim to make different things for different people, we get more ideas, more innovations, more solutions to problems. And an innovation in one type of game can potentially have massive impact outside of what it was intentionally for. I'm sure you can think of many examples, and it's how you make a strong community inside a game or out of it. Lots of different people with different ideas all working together to make something no one of them could have aspired to alone. You know, where even the strongest individuals are bolstered by the strength of the whole. Yes, I grew up watching Star Trek The Next Generation, and I've never quite shaken it off, so there that is. And all PSAs aside, there has already been some stuff I think is potentially very interesting to MMO enthusiasts. So without further ado, let's get into some kind of list situation. The first thing, there's a game called Sea of Thieves. It's a pirate-themed. It's definitely multiplayer. From the look of it, it looks like it's a kind of MMO situation, playing with, large groups of people, some of whom you don't know. Multiplayer fighting on ships in Arcade is amazing. People loved it in Assassin's Creed as well, in the single player. So this game could be a really fun sort of MMO light experience. It looks like it's being made for console by Rare, who are of course developers with more ties to more arcadey style games than heavyweight RPGs, and this sort of fresh perspective could bring some bold new ideas in, or at least a new perspective on what is fun in an MMO environment. Another game, The Division. Tom Clancy's The Division. It looks pretty cool. Though, if you ask me, it's kind of looked less and less cool since we first heard about it. It's like every time we see a new trailer, there's more like game type things just inserted into it. And it's always a shame, isn't it, when you start seeing those little bits seeded through it. And to be honest, I only mentioned this game because of the support for playing and interacting with the shared world via different devices and using different methods, including tablets, even smartphones, which is awesome. I think this is an area that MMOs, especially traditional MMOs, have been extremely slow to get their act together with. So hopefully there'll be a concrete success story here with this game that they can just copy, and then maybe we'll get somewhere with it. And there was some of the cynicism creeping in, if that's what you were waiting for. There's a game by No Man's Sky, a game called No Man's Sky by Hello Games. Now, you're probably aware of this one. The presentation of it was understated in a very British way, which I can totally get behind. It's another game. It's looking less like a tech concept and more like a game. It'll be interesting to find out more in regards to what fully destructible environments really means. And this is something I'm just excited to experience, because the scale of the game is just utterly incomprehensible. I mean, I hope, this is what I hope, I hope that the pace and the variety of the game can be maintained to make it really engaging. If it's so massive, even being procedurally generated means you run the risk of everything becoming a sort of grey soup. You know, and it needs that variety to maintain the engagement, I think. And if it can do that, you know, it could really revolutionize how we think about virtual environments entirely. There's another game, it's called For Honor. And alright, I will admit 4v4 isn't exactly massively multiplayer, but the combat system looks very exciting while being extremely strategic, in a chivalry War of the Roses kind of way. And if you believe the blurb, it could be a breakthrough in intuitive controls for melee combat. And as more and more MMOs find their way onto consoles and take up that action style combat, this might prove to be a really important step in the evolution of action combat in multiplayer environments. Another game which looked really, really impressive was Horizon Zero Dawn, which, despite being unfortunately titled in a manner utterly bereft of creativity, the game itself looks wonderfully creative. The environment, the style, the themes of it. It's a little bit of a shame they sort of present these very sort of tribal people as being like super white, but all right, that's the you know, I'll probably get called a social justice warrior for that, but it's true. It's just a thing. It's, you know, there it is. So Horizon Zero Dawn. It looks like it's taken some influence from Monster Hunter, which has some of the best PvE multiplayer available. And I'll take any excuse to give Monster Hunter a plug. It's absolutely incredible. So if Horizon can live up to that experience while looking as pretty as it does and being as visually and thematically creative as it is, I think it's really onto a winner. And we saw, like, in the trailer, yes, it's showing the game in its best light, but there was some interesting designs seeded throughout it, and it's another one I hope they don't try and stuff it with too much fluff. I hope it's in the way that Monster Hunter is. I hope the core of it is in the systems rather than, you know, this awful sort of quote unquote content. And as far as technology goes, the HoloLens demonstration with the Minecraft, that was really just terrifying. I mean, I don't know I don't know if it will turn out anything like what we saw during the presentation, but I was shocked to discover that we're living in the future. They say that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, and it really it does. It just looks like magic, and it helps that I love Minecraft too. But with a system like that, even if it doesn't look quite as good, even if it doesn't perform quite as smoothly, it's a start. I mean, imagine playing a tabletop game with it, or a family board game, or Dungeons and Dragons, anything like that you could just, you know, tabletop wargaming, anything that could be simply represented in that way, but then you could produce in this 3D environment. And in terms of like local local multiplayer and local co-op, getting a family round a table, getting the kids to engage with some family time, and have an activity to do with them. That's just incredible. The possibilities of it. It's honestly something that obviously the creating the platform is the issue. Like enough people need to buy the thing to make developers make products for the thing for them people to buy. So it comes down to critical mass, doesn't it? But this is something that I actually think, in terms of changing the way that we play games, I actually think has more potential than the VR systems that we're playing. I mean, yes, like you put on an Oculus Rift and you load into Star Citizen or Eve Valkyrie or something like that, and it's absolutely incredible to be situated in the environment like that. But ultimately, it's an experience that can be immediately recreated, but just on a screen instead of on the headset. Yes, you can turn your head. All right, I'll give you that. You can turn your head and the thing turns, but then that, if you use that to its full effect, then it means you're bound to a chair, so you might as well be looking at a screen anyway. Whereas with something like this that creates a virtual 3D environment, there's applications to that are just impossible to recreate sitting in a chair in front of a PC. So I know that people will continue to be more excited by VR because it's a more direct sort of visceral experience that you can really get behind. And I've tried Oculus Rift and it is absolutely incredible. I'm not trying to take anything away from it. And this is turning into a bit of a ramble, so maybe we'll come back to this another time. And yes, those are the things that I've seen that I feel have the largest potential reach as far as the MMO medium goes. Do you think I left anything out? Yes, I didn't talk about Destiny. I didn't talk about Star Wars: The Old Republic. I don't think there's really anything interesting to say about either of those. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you do. Leave us a comment below. Let us know. Are there any one of these games in particular that you're really excited for? Do you want to show off some of your cynicism and tell us why all of these things are going to be absolutely awful and that the world won't be worth living in? This video is way too long already, so please do give the video a like if you've been swept up with the excitement of E3, and subscribe for many wonderful things from amazing people, and I'll see you again really soon. Okay, thanks. Bye!
Make sure to level up your MMO knowledge by visiting MMORPG.com, subscribing to our YouTube channel, and by following us on social media. To catch up on the week's biggest MMO news, watch our latest MMO FTW. And to see if there's a better MMO out there for you, watch one of our latest First Impressions videos. Thanks for watching.